It's that time of the year again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the red carpet as the Suns Jam Session proudly presents the 2022-2023 end of year Jammy Awards. What's a Jammy, you might ask? Well, it's an award that we give out over a plethora of different categories to different players throughout the NBA, both on the Suns and in the NBA. We always do a preseason Jammy Award preview, and we're going to review some of those as we hand out the hardware for this one to see how far off we were at the beginning of the season or how close we truly were. So I welcome you to another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. As always, I'm joined by my podcasting partner, Matthew, looking ever so good in your red carpet jacket, ready to rock and roll for the Jammy Awards here, huh?
Yeah, fabulous night tonight, right? You had the jacket on, I had to get mine on, so I didn't want to be left out, you know?
Yes.
I told you I look a little white trash, but we'll white trash it up tonight just for you folks.
Yeah,
Welcome,
and I'm wearing my tuxedo shirt that I actually went to the park this evening. I was walking the dogs, and there was somebody who worked for the city of Phoenix who was working at the park, and I swear they stopped and were staring at me for a long time from about 100 yards off, trying to figure out, is that douchebag wearing a tuxedo shirt? I'm like, you damn right, sir.
No,
you
I think
damn right.
I think he was wondering. He's like, "It's tonight, the Jammies? I totally forgot."
Yeah, I'm like, hey,
That's
man,
probably what he was thinking.
it's the Jammy Awards tonight, so you got to tune in, turn on, tune in, and zone out, baby, zone out.
Red carpet's about to close. Everyone's coming in. The doors are gonna close.
A lot of pictures out front. A lot of pictures out front. A lot of bunny ears.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people doing the bunny ears thing. It's like, come on.
That's always a thing.
Grow up. Grow up. Come on. This is a classy event here. We keep it classy. We drink White Claws. Blackberry White Claws.
I was going to say.
At the Jammies.
You know, some wine sounds actually pretty good right now.
Do you have any wine, Matthew?
No, but really quick, when I went to Jerome, there was a ports wine I've never tried before in my life.
You've never had a port?
No, never. And oh my God, wine. I was like, this is the shit. This is why people love wine. This is why all the basketball players can drink this stuff and play the next day. It didn't make me feel bad. It tasted delicious, and I felt great.
Well, I will tell you this. A port wine is a higher alcohol and thicker wine, if you will.
Yes.
It's a dessert wine. You're meant to have like half a glass after you've eaten. So if you're drinking that like a normal glass of wine, you're just like, whoo, you're going to feel it. You're going to have a good time. So I assume you had a good time in Jerome.
Yes, I did. I drove home drunk. Just kidding.
Whoa, that's a long drive. Oh, well, on that note, Jamsters, this is a reminder to subscribe, rate, and review. If you're watching along live on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. If you're watching a little bit later on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and what's this?
I don't know what I was doing there, dude.
What do I got in my jacket here? Oh, it's a thumbs up.
Oh.
What do you know? I got it at Target. Discount. This one? No, you don't want that one.
Oh, whoops.
Let me put that one away.
Wrong pocket.
Woo. But again, make sure you subscribe, rate, review, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can follow me at Darth Void and read my writing at brightsideofthesun.com. You can follow Matthew Lissy.
I'm Matthew Lissy.
And we're going to pop them if you got them. It's a big night for all the nominees. I know that they're anxiously awaiting inside the theater as we get ready to announce some of our awards. So pop them if you got them, Suns fans. And let's get into some jammies. Yes. This is the annual Jammy Awards. For those of you who are new to the program, it's something, again, that we do at the beginning of every year. And then at the end of the regular season, we recap those Jammy Awards and we hand out the hardware, the official hardware for the season. So before we get into everything, Matthew, are there any surprises out there? Is there anything when you look back at the preseason, you're like, nailed that, or man, I fucked that up?
You know the Dave King, I think last podcast, you went over Dave King's predictions, 14 of them. You're all, nope, that was mine. That was exactly mine. But if anybody got this season right, they got to be on ESPN. They got to be paid the big bucks because this season was up and down, but a lot of downs for a lot of teams, and just a big question mark over the whole thing. So if you guessed anything right, dude, you're nuts. You're nutso.
It was an interesting season, that's to say the very, very least. And as we review some of these awards, we can talk about what our mindset was during the preseason when we were trying to map out what this season was going to look like. I don't think that anybody would have predicted some of the things that occurred. And I think there were some things that were somewhat predictable. So it's going to be kind of interesting. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's kick off the Jammy Awards intro.
The Jammies.
Think about all those.
I love that. I like your intro for the pod, but like if we could just have that one and trademark it ourselves, I would. That would be so badass.
Yeah, that's the old intro for the Suns games back in the day. And then, of course, if you're watching, you can see what the trophies look like that we're handing out. You know, one's got my head on top of it. The other one's got your head on top of it. And I know that people are wondering. And the answer is, if you win a Jammy, you actually get 2 awards. You get both. You get the John and Matthew Jam. You get both of those awards. So
they connect to each other too. They do.
Always double fisting. Always double fisting.
The back to the front, they connect.
Incorrect. They do. But it's cheek to cheek. It's how it is. So it's like you're always, as you spin it, it's never like. Anyways, let's hand out our first award, huh, Matthew?
All right. Yeah, everyone's waiting.
Let's do the Acid Genes Award.
The Acid Genes Award for the most watched player, a.k.a. how is this guy getting minutes?
Right. Real quick before we get into that one, a quick shout out to Sideshow 1999 in the super chat. We truly appreciate it. It says Jambalaya. Don't know how that applies, but you know what?
Big fan.
I love jambalaya. I love jambalaya. I don't know about you.
I've had it once and I loved it. Never had it again though.
Oh man, shrimp jambalaya. I've had it a million times. I work in the restaurant industry. It's what you do at the end of the week. You're like, shit, what do we put all this food into? Just make a jambalaya, throw it over rice. Delicious, a little spice, a little Creole spice.
Hey, it's a compliment, right? Calling us jambalaya. So I love it.
We are jambalaya. So here we go. The Acid Genes Award. If you look at the preseason for this, Matthew, you originally stated Landry Shamet for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
And in the NBA, you said Blake Griffin. How we looking?
You know, I think Blake played some pretty decent minutes. He did. There's one guy I think I could throw out there for the NBA.
Okay.
It'd be Austin Rivers. Wash. He got punched this year. Why is he still playing? I don't even know what team he's on. I just saw him on the TV. I think he's playing for one of the play-in teams. I could care less of who he plays for, but he's still getting minutes somewhere else. Is it the Nuggets? I think it is.
I have no idea. Who's
I don't know. I thought he was in the
not a play-in team.
Play-in team. Chancellors let me know, but I did see him on the screen, and I'm like, how is that guy still playing? Drives me nuts. I think he's a podcast guy now. He is one, but it was going to be Russell Westbrook, but then he kind of revived himself, and he's getting a lot of minutes, and we'll see him in the playoffs coming up pretty soon. And maybe he'll be washed. Who knows? He might be washed and try to wear the whole team on his sleeve and ruin it for everybody. So hopefully that happens. For the Suns, it was Shamet, right? Now it's Shamet probably.
So you're
if I had to choose anybody going into the playoffs in this season, big letdown for me. Some decent stretches by him, and some injuries too. But I can't stand him on the court right now. He's the one guy, and I don't want to point out any Suns because I love all these guys. I really do. I'm rooting for him in the playoffs, obviously, right? We're all Suns fans here. But you have to choose somebody that's going to be Shamet for sure.
So you're maintaining your pick as Landry Shamet as the Acid Genes Award winner. And again, you're going with Austin Rivers on the NBA level. Looking at what some of the Jamsters are saying in the chat, Suns Geek says ShamWow. So says Jay, says Chris Paul, although I believe that might be facetious. Hey.0 replies with definitely not Chris Paul. Fabio says the Wolves. Coach Fallen Founder says Udonis Haslem for me. Hey.0 also says the Wolves. And Suns Down Under podcast says washed LeBron.
The Wolves, yeah.
The Wolves, yeah. My preseason pick was Torrey Craig, and still kind of ashamed of that one because he definitely proved otherwise this season. And I will say this, when you look at Torrey Craig preseason, you have to understand kind of what the mindset was before the season began. And he didn't have a great postseason. He didn't have a great season upon return with the Phoenix Suns last year. So I thought that perhaps it would carry on this season. I believe both him and Campaign were the two guys I was really looking at this season. And I thought as they go, the Suns will go this season. I remember that was very an adamant take that I had at the front end of the season. For the NBA, I said Kemba Walker. And, he only played in 9 games this year. He had 8 points per game, and he was waived from the Mavericks on January 6th. So I don't even know if he applies anymore. But I'll say this. From a Suns standpoint, I'm changing it from Torrey Craig. I'm saying Jock Landale.
I see. I thought there was going to be a lot more jocks out there. But
yeah, I'm going with Jock Landale for the Acid Jeans Award winner. I get that he brings us a burst of energy, and he gives us some offensive presence on the interior when DeAndre Ayton's not on the floor. But I think as the postseason continues, we'll see less and less of him. And I think as the season continued, we were kind of rolling our eyes a lot of times when he came in the game. He'd shoot those wacky ass threes. No one was sitting there watching a Phoenix Suns game and seeing Jock Landale come in with his cockadoo hairdo and saying, you know what? I really hope that Jock Landale hoists up a 3 tonight. And he did it time and time again. He shot 84 3-pointers this year, and
13.
he made 25% of them. Oh, that's a good guess. Yeah, 21.
21.
So
okay. I thought you were going to ask me, so I was just throwing 13 out there. Okay.
I should have been like trivia time. But that drops on a different StreamYard thing right now because we're doing the jammies. So Jock is my pick. And then for the NBA, I figured, you know what? If I'm not going to do Kemba Walker because he's no longer in the NBA, so it doesn't really apply, I'm going to stick with another Dallas Maverick. I'm going to say JaVale McGee, washed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was signed by the Mavericks, what was going to be the starting center, quote unquote.
Yes.
Got paid to go play over in Dallas. And he got played off the court back into his career. I think that JaVale McGee, who does hold a special place in all of our hearts as Phoenix Suns for what he did last year, Acid Jeans Award winner there.
Dude, I like that one. I remember when he signed, I'm like, oh, are we missing out? Should we have JaVale McGee still on this team? But, deep down, I was like, that's not going to work out. We saw him in long minutes last year. How will that work? So that team just signs the craziest contracts and the craziest people,
it does. Right? They're putting the wackiest shit together, and they're like, it's like
figure it out.
Moneyball. They're like, well, according to the advanced statistics, this should be amazing. But
I think
it's not like Moneyball because, they just go by name.
Yeah,
pick a name out of a hat.
That's a big name. Oh yeah, they do that. Pick it out of a hat. Yeah,
and the winner is JaVale McGee. Give him $9 million a year. So, all right, you ready for the next award?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
The Skeleton Key Award for the player who unlocks everything for his team.
You boob.
All right, you boobs. Skeleton Key Award, obviously, again, as stated, the award for the guy who unlocks his team. My preseason pick was Jock Landale for the Phoenix Suns. Swing and a miss on that. And I now would say that easily the answer to that is Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's addition to the Phoenix Suns unlocks everyone around him. I know that he's only played 8 games with his fellow starters, but we are all in awe, not only of his offensive capabilities and his defensive capabilities, but how he unlocks the players around him on both ends of the floor. Devin Booker's getting wide open threes. DeAndre Ayton is getting bounce passes to his hands, not at his knees, and having easy layups rather than dunks. Chris Paul's finding himself a catch-and-shoot shooter for the first time in his career, and he's knocking them down. And on the defensive end, due to his size, DeAndre Ayton can be a little bit more aggressive as well because he's not truly the last line of defense like he's been for season after season with this team. The Landry Shamits of the world, the Chris Pauls of the world, even the Devin Booker at times knows they can gamble a little bit on defense because DA was always the guy back there. Now even DA has some support in Kevin Durant. So I think that he is the Skeleton Key Award winner for the Phoenix Suns. As for the NBA preseason, I said it was Jamal Murray. I thought that his return to the Denver Nuggets would propel them to a number 1 seed in the Western Conference, which is what I stated prior to the season. And I'm not going to give it to him for the end of year Jammy Award, Skeleton Key Award. I'm giving it to his fellow teammate Nikola Jokic. I just think he once again proved how effortless he can play basketball and how efficient he can play basketball in setting up his teammates. Jamal Murray didn't have the greatest of years. Michael Porter Jr. didn't have the greatest of years, but they always shined when Nikola Jokic was the one who set them up to shine. Aaron Gordon was a borderline all-star this year. Why? Because Nikola Jokic made him one. And they were the number one seed in the Western Conference due to his efforts. So that's who I'm nominating for my Skeleton Key Awards. Matthew, for yourself, you want to read off what some of the Jamsters are throwing down?
Let's just go. First of all, great pick. Obviously, he can win that every year, I think. And he looks like he has skeleton keys, like, to his hip.
It slows him down from a running standpoint.
Yeah. Suns Geek says Kevin Durant. I think it's some Kevin Durant. Suns Geek says Super Dario. Well,
come on, Suns Geek, make up your mind.
Juan Romero says Mikal Bridges. Hey.0. Josh Okogie. Fabio Nozaki says Suns KD, NBA KD. Yeah. And that's what I thought you were going to say too, John. So Suns Down Under podcast says Suns Okogie, NBA Drew Holiday. Good pick.
That.
Good pick.
Both.
Really well thought out. You did your studying for the Jammies. Joel Ramirez says it's Devin Booker. And then also Sonia, long time no see.
Yeah, welcome back, Sonia.
Welcome back, KD. So,
all right.
Yeah, so I'm going to go.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this before. So from a Sun standpoint, preseason, you said Cameron Payne. Where are you now?
Oh man, it's not at all. I'm gonna go KD too. There's a guy too on this team in Okogie that might hit almost every award here, but it's KD 8-0. I mean, it's a guy that's gonna make everything easier for him. Everybody else on the court, especially DA. But when he comes on the team, it's effortless, and he unlocks, of course, everyone's heart as a Suns fan for sure. As for the NBA, I'm gonna go.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You're going to say who I picked last year?
I will after you pick it. I got to be better.
Well, I know who I picked. Did I pick Kyrie? No, I'm just kidding. I picked Scotty Barnes.
You picked Scotty
I did.
Barnes.
And that one, like, just...
The team that just got eliminated in the play-in from the Toronto Raptors, Scotty Barnes.
Was he even playing? You don't even notice him on the court anymore.
Was he? I watched that whole game. I don't even remember one Scotty
Barnes.
I
don't remember one thing. I was like, wait, did he play? I watched maybe the fourth quarter. But yeah, that guy's just, like, not even the same. Maybe it's just a sophomore curse or whatever they call it, sophomore slump for him, hopefully, because I love that dude. But NBA, I'm going to choose Kyrie. Just kidding. I'm going to choose Robert Williams of the Celtics. A guy that is very
interesting.
Listen to Bill Simmons, but when I see him on the court, obviously I don't watch too much other teams and too many other games, maybe 20 to 30 hours tops this season. I'm watching other games. I'm not going to lie, guys. But when I do watch the Celtics, when I watch Robert Williams, I'm like, that guy is a difference maker. You hear it from the Celtics fans too, but there's something in him that just puts fear in a lot of other teams. And if they have him on the team this year, they have an absolute shot to go to the finals. So yeah, I mean, I think he's a tremendous guy down there low. I mean, he's like the one guy where I actually do fear looking at him. His eyes are just, there's something in them. I'm like, I don't want to mess with him. I feel bad for DA if he has to play against that guy. So he is the NBA guy for Golden Key guy.
He's somebody who, when he's not out there, it's noticeable for the Celtics. And I'm with you. I'm not like, I don't sit here and watch a ton of Boston Celtics basketball, but from what I have watched and gathered from, reading The Athletic and ESPN and NBA.com and following Bill Simmons, obviously, who always has to talk about the Celtics. Like they're sitting there, he's interviewing like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. They're talking about the movie Air, which, by the way, go see that movie. That's a good movie.
Good. Yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
I heard it's good. I heard it's 99%. I think it's 99% or something.
It was 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
But anyways, like he'll somehow slip in like something about the Celtics. But that being said, there's a reason why people talk about Robert Williams the way they do. There's a validity to it, and it's simply because of just that. Like his ability, especially on the defensive end, to dictate pace is what allows the Boston Celtics to be successful. And when he's not out there, they can look really lost sometimes. So something to keep an eye on as the postseason occurs. But for the regular season, Matthew is giving his Jammy Award for the Skeleton Key to Robert Williams on the NBA level, and we both give it to KD for the Phoenix Suns. All right, next award up.
The Mad Max Most Improved Player Award.
I always love that.
I'm just trying to go through and just like, oh yeah, let's go. What do you got? But then I always have to chuckle at that.
Well, and for those of you again who are new time watchers or listeners, the reason it's the Mad Max Most Improved Player is if you've ever watched the first Mad Max, it just sucked, and every Mad Max after that was so much better than that. It's easily one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But yeah, Most Improved Player Award, Matthew, preseason for the Phoenix Suns. You had Devin Booker. Where are you at now?
So I think there's gonna be a lot of Okogis, but I'm gonna say Mikal Bridges.
Okay.
He's gonna be my guy. I'm just gonna spoil it right now. He's my guy for the Suns in the NBA. The way he improved in like the last 3 weeks is with the team, where he looked like a new dude. He looked like he had Booker's shot out there. He was leading us to victories. He stood up. I mean, out of anybody that we needed, we needed some help. He wanted to win, and he got up. He got dirty. He was playing a little bit selfish, but it improved his game. He was solid, and it's funny when he gets traded, everyone's like, I don't know how this can keep up, because he wasn't this way in Phoenix, but he was. And that's why it was hard to see him go, because he's like, oh shit, there's something there. And then, dude, with the Nets, he's been ridiculous. Obviously, that team is in the playoffs right now as a 6th seed, and we're all going to root for them. But he's just noticeable. He's going to be a star next year. He's going to be a all-star for sure. So yeah, Most Improved for sure. I've never seen some guy, especially on the Suns, change that drastically. I think he's that player for sure. But just to like go at it like that, and just the confidence build between one game and another, and just the rest of the season after that, that's the most improvement I've ever seen in ever. We
all wondered if he would take the leap this year, and even midway through the season, he was kind of chugging along. You're like, yeah, Mikal's Mikal, right?
Yeah.
And then he just flipped a switch, man, and he hasn't turned it off ever since. I think that's a good one. What about for the NBA preseason? You said Gordon Hayward, Most Improved Player, Gordon Hayward.
I chose a lot of Hornets, but no, it's Mikal Bridges.
Mikal on both. Okay.
Yeah.
Facts. Okay. I always have to, sorry, I'm typing these in because I logged all of these so we can always remember where we fucked up. All right. So from the Jamsters, we have Psycho Hawk 2000 says Mikal Bridges for show. Fabio gives it to DA. Hey.0 to Josh Okogie. Jonathan E's giving it to Torrey Craig. Hey. Also says and Mikal Bridges. Joel Ramirez, Mikal Bridges for the Suns, and Lauri Markkanen for the NBA. Suns Down Under gives it to Okogie and Mikal Bridges. Fabio gives it to Okogie and Mikal as well. Laurie from Huevo. Sonia says J.O. and Mikal. Suns Geek says Okogie for the Suns, and Lauri Markkanen, Mikal, and others for the
Suns
for the
Geek.
NBA.
Pull together, dude. You gotta make one.
Dude, you got to commit to something, man.
It's
you can't make
winner.
everybody happy.
You can't have 3 people walk up on stage.
You can't have others show up on stage, Suns Geek. Like, we don't have that many awards.
Do better for tomorrow night, all right?
We don't have that many awards.
Yes,
we will be live on Suns Geek's channel tomorrow. So
yes,
perfection. Juan Romero says Bridges again, and Kristen Perez says Torrey Craig, hands down for
good
sure.
One. Love that one.
Good one for sure. So I will start with the beginning of the season as well. I chose Dario Saric. Or no, Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson was going to be my Mad Max Award winner. It was both him and Mikal, right? We're like, one of these guys has to become the most improved Phoenix Sun for this team to progress, to take that next step. And it was Mikal who ultimately did it. But Cam had a good season, right?
Yeah, I mean, I look at the box score. He has those same Cam stats, man. Mm-hmm. He needs time. He needs a little bit more time than Mikal.
They are pretty consistent. I will say Josh Okogie is my Mad Max Award winner, most improved. Yeah. Josh Okogie came into this team a defensive stalwart, somebody who we knew had it on the defensive end. We didn't know how many minutes he was going to get. A very, very poor shooter in his time in Minnesota. So any offense was going to be a bonus. And now he's part of a starting 5 that is like a legendary starting 5 for the Phoenix Suns, and he earned his way there. So to go from a guy who you're like, hey, man, maybe he's like our 12th guy coming off the bench to be in the starting 5, like Josh Okogie, Mad Max Award winner for me. As it pertains to the NBA, I had Anthony Simons as my pick for the Mad Max Most Improved Player Award. And I have a couple things. One, I have Lauri Markkanen. I think Lauri Markkanen is going to win the award. I think Lauri Markkanen going to Utah, and he just thrived, and he was everything that the Bulls and the Cavs ever wanted him to be. He's everything that he was drafted to be, and then some. He's got some size to him now, so he can play inside and outside, and he's been fantastic in Utah. And he gives Utah, who already has a ton of assets, another asset or somebody to build around in the future. And I think that's valid. And the other one I'm going to give is something that keeps coming back and coming back and coming back, and I don't know how. It's LeBron James's hairline. Like, I was watching the game last night, which is one of the worst fucking games I've ever seen, by the way. Like, stuck on 95 for like 5 minutes. You're like, this is a play-in game, quote unquote. No one of these teams suck. And I'm like, and LeBron's on the free throw line. I'm like, dude, that hairline, man, he keeps getting it.
I didn't notice it.
It's because he has it so it's not noticeable anymore. It's just like replugged and replugged and replugged. It's like somebody who takes really good care of a golf course. Like, it's like Augusta golf course where the Masters is played. You only play it for like 4 months out of the year because they're working on it for 8 months out of the year, so it looks pristine. It's the same thing with LeBron's hairline. Like, he works on that thing all the time.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure he has like little fairies. Right as soon as he walks into the tunnel, there's fairies that just go to work.
yeah, instantly. It's like in his cryo chamber.
Yeah, that game though too, man. About like two
Ugh.
teams that just never gave a fuck all year, kind of injuries, and Minnesota was missing some guys. Excuse my language. It's more the Lakers just never care. Bad. Oh my god, the end of that game, bad. LeBron trying to throw the game, maybe. Who knows? Because that's what it looked like, dude.
Him throwing the ball to Dennis Schroeder, and he actually made it.
Dropping the ball, throwing it out of bounds off of his hands, fumbling the ball.
And somebody tweeted out today, and they were so right. Like, there's a picture of Dennis Schroeder, doing the ice in the veins 3, and then LeBron as well. And they're like, imagine if the Suns did that. If the Suns did that, everyone would think it was the most cringiest thing ever. Whereas when the Lakers do it, everyone's like, this is the greatest photo taken this season. It's just the duality of the Lakers situation.
There was a time, though, where the 3 thing got kind of cringy because we were losing.
Yes.
When you're losing, it's bad.
When you're down 10 and you're hitting those threes, and Mikhail's kind of throwing 3 fingers at you.
And when you're fouling the corner 3 guy that might tie the game.
Oh, good
bad.
old AD, man. Never. Yeah.
That was a foul.
You can never not count on him. So I'll tell you who you can count on. That's Matthews.
The Matthews Dad 6th Man of the Year Award.
That last 3, he looked around. He was going to be like the new Devin Booker and find somebody. He like, man, fuck this.
Yeah, man, fuck this.
You know what? EJ, I know you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're watching.
And we appreciate
I know you're at the other podcast, but come on. Come on the pod once, all right?
We'd love to have you, EJ.
I'd like to finally meet my dad.
Yeah, we'd like to just have a couple conversations about why you abandoned Matthew so young and early, and it resulted in him making out with pencils and such. My preseason pick for the 6th man, the Matthews Dad 6th Man of the Year Award winner, was Dario Saric. Boy, was I wrong on that one. Whew, ouch. And for the NBA, I chose Bones Highland, who's now playing for the Clippers and is kind of filling that role. But
interesting, man.
Did you think those were good picks then or now?
Bones is different. Bones could have been something, but there's something with that guy. I don't think he'll ever be a good locker room guy unless he grows up. You know what I mean? Like, he just causes a ruckus, it seems like. So
he's kind of like one of your picks for the 6th man that we'll talk about momentarily. But for the Suns, the challenge with the 6th man for the Suns is, due to the flux in the roster, the injuries that occurred throughout the season, we never truly had somebody defined in that role. So as I was sitting there and I was thinking, who do I give it to? Who gets the Matthews Dad Award for this one? Because it's just, I couldn't think of anybody. So after long, hard thinking and some trials and some tribulations, I decided that I was just going to give it to the Outlet Boys. Ross.
The Outlet Boys.
I mean, why not? Why not give it to the Outlet Boys in this situation? Because they're important coming off the bench. They had like 3 really good games. And who the fuck else are you going to give it to? Campaign? He wasn't around. Busy defense? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. So those are my 2 picks, or my picks for the Suns. And relative to the NBA, I would just went with Malcolm Brogdon. Going kind of back to the Celtics.
Yeah, he's a favorite.
You talked about, no, he's actually not the favorite. Emmanuel Quickly is from the New York Knicks. But I think much akin to your Robert Williams argument, Malcolm Brogdon is big for that team. I mean, he's a starter on every other team in the NBA, and he's coming off the bench, and spelling Marcus Smart, and he's been playing really, really well this year. So I think that he's the Matthew's Dad's Sixth Man of the Year award winner. So what are the Jamsters saying, Matthew?
All right. Well, we got Suns Geek in here. Let's see what he says. Busy.
Ooh. Hey, pick one.
He left it at that. Love you, Suns Geek. Coach Fallen Founder. I met my daddy, but then he retired from podcasting.
Oh,
P-Dog 006. Terrence Ross. Coach Fallen Founder again. Suns Craig, NBA Colin Sexton.
Okay.
P.0 says Dwayne Washington.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah, he was. Once upon a time, he was.
He was.
And I don't want to hear if the Suns if they're missing shooting or anything off the bench, I don't want to hear anything about Dwayne Washington. All right. He's gone. I don't want to hear about we need Dwayne Washington. Why did we let him go? Because that's not going to be a thing.
Let it be.
Yeah, that's not going to be a thing on this podcast at all. Who did I choose? I'm going to give it to Biz. I was going to say Craig, but he just now moved into maybe I'll give it to Craig because you gave it to the Outlet Boys, and we really haven't seen much, and we're excited about them in the playoffs. I think I'm going to give it to Craig. I was going to give it to Busy, but I'll save him for another award. Craig deserves it because I think he is a great bench player, but he's had to start all season long. But now we're going to see some good Craig minutes coming off the bench, man. You guys are going to be so excited when he gets out there playing defense, just cutting to the basket, doing Craig things. I'm excited for the future right now.
Getting juiced up.
Yeah. So that is a difficult one because everything was just in and out. All these guys were hurt or traded, stuff like that. For the NBA, I'm going to give it to the favorite quickly. And the only reason I did, it's not like I went to an NBA betting site and I said, every time I do this award, I do that because I have no idea. I'm like,
I didn't know you had an NBA betting site. You never gamble. I can tell you about all the parlays that I hit today, man. I made some good money. I'm going to make some good money these playoffs, man, because I know these teams. You? Yeah, because like half the time you're betting in the NBA in the NBA regular season, you're hoping for this to happen and a point total here and a point and an assist total here, and then it never happens because the guys never play enough fucking minutes. But now we're going to get like 45 minutes a game of everybody.
Totally true.
So it's going to happen. I hit 2. Now, granted, one was on a miracle last-second three-pointer by Brandon Ingram that I needed, but he hit it. And I won a bunch of money on that one because I had like a 4-legged parlay in that game. So I won both my 4-legged parlays today. But continue. I digress.
Hey, no worries. No, and it's not even, it's not even worth it. I'm going to admit to the Jamsters. I went to go see these names, top 5. I saw, I saw Brogdon. I saw Quickly. And I was like, you know what? I've watched Quickly a few times this year. And I'm very impressed. The little shorts, they leave you wanting more. And plus his game is just... It's good, man. That New York Knicks team, of course, is actually in the playoffs this year, but he's played a big part of it. I mean, coming off the bench, he's only averaging the 12 points, 60 games this year off the bench, 22 started, but he was averaging 20 points when he was actually starting. So I'm like, does that even count? I think so. 60 games right now. Next year, they're going to do the 65 games where you have to,
correct.
I think it's just play a game,
but
not come off the bench or anything like that.
That doesn't matter for the jammies, baby. We don't have any
minimums. There's no rules in these. Yeah. And I'm gonna.
That being said, that will affect one of mine. In fact, the next award it will affect my game.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, that's all. 6-man award.
All right. So
10 years, I don't think so.
Again, preseason, you had Jacques Landale for the Suns and Jordan Poole for the NBA. How do you feel about those picks now?
Jordan Poole. I think he still counts, right?
He's good-ish.
Yeah, he is good. He's not what we thought he was going to be this year, obviously, because of what happened. But he was going to be it until he got knocked out. And he looks sad all the time. Instead of picking up the sideline reporters after every game, he just looks like a different dude. He looks like a puppy dog out there. But he's definitely a 6-man candidate.
Let's give out some more hardware.
I love Jock. The Bob Gunton Defensive Player of the Year Award.
Put your trust in the Lord. Your ass belongs to me.
All right, Bob Gunton, Defensive Player of the Year Award. Matthew, preseason for the Suns, you gave it to Mikal Bridges, and in quite possibly the worst pick that we've had thus far on the Jammies, in the NBA, you gave it to Benjamin Simmons, Matthew.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is justify the Ben Simmons pick and then give us the Suns in the NBA now.
He actually was playing really good. He was. There was a stretch there where his defense was picked up. He was averaging 2-2-2 on the season, but his defense was there. And I'm a Ben Simmons supporter. You guys can talk shit all you want. I love Ben Simmons, and the fact that it takes these guys this long, even like Zion, to get mentally prepared to come back it's a thing. It's a real thing with these guys now. There's, social media is involved, but they were playing good, man. When they had those three on the court, it was looking pretty solid for the New Jersey Nets, for the Brooklyn Nets. I just, it's not his fault that team split up and they just wanted to go other places. So Ben Simmons, he was a candidate for real.
Sir Hamo says, Jesus, Lissy, Ben Simmons is a national disappointment. Hamo being from Australia.
Exactly, national disappointment. Can you imagine being a national disappointment, having to go play basketball when everyone's looking at you and trying to pick your nose the whole time? I'd be a disaster too, man.
Sack up, Ben.
No one does.
All right. So, again, who do you give it to the Suns and who do you give it to in the NBA this year?
Oh, Josh Okogie.
So I thought there was like a big,
I was going to say the replacement for Mikal Bridges and maybe even a better man on defense. I was going to say that, but that's not good.
Should have.
I miss you, Mikal. But Okogie is really fucking good. I think I've cried a few times on this podcast after a game watching him play defense. He's just that fantastic. And defensive player of the year, who am I going to throw out there? JJJ is the only one I really paid too much attention to.
Okay.
And any guy that can be down there causing a ruckus like him, shot deterrence and all that, shot blocking, defensive player of the year for sure. He probably will win it in real life too, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
except for minutes played and all that. I heard Bill Simmons talk about it on the pod today. So
yeah, we'll see. Suns Geek gives it to Josh Okogie. Sir Hamo gives it to Jo as well. Fabio gives it to Okogie and Mikal. Suns Down Under podcast for the Suns gives it to Okogie, and for the NBA gives it to Brooke Lopez. Dagoon says anyone but Luka, and I don't think we have to worry about that. It's Okogie hands down from P-Dog 006, and Joel Ramirez says Jo for the Suns. Preseason for myself, I had Mikal Bridges, and for the NBA, I had Giannis Antetokounmpo. For the Suns, I'm going to give it to DA. Now, I know that might not be a popular pick, and I know that the majority of people are saying, Okogie, and I agree, but I don't know if we didn't get top-level defense from Okogie all year because he didn't play all year. Midway through the season, he started playing a little bit. I like what DA brought this season defensively. His defense was never something I truly worried about. There were spats when this team was losing games where we were unbelievably hampered with injuries, in which I felt a lot was put on his shoulders and he didn't have the ability to perform because no one was around him. But as this team got back together, as the band got back together and started playing the greatest hits, I think that he once again showed how he is. You can't play him off the court. And you're seeing this in the play-in games, right? You're seeing certain guys who they just kind of get played off the court, and you're going to see it more and more in the playoffs. And you're going to be so appreciative that you have DeAndre Ayton. As for the NBA, I'm going and sticking with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Part of my argument against JJJ is, as Bill Simmons mentioned, as you mentioned, minutes played in 63 games. But it comes down to this factor. And this is it for me. Who scares you more on defense? Who's the scariest guy on defense in the league, in your opinion? For me, it's Giannis. The guy can be on the opposing three-point line and block your shot in 2 steps. JJJ doesn't scare me because he fouls too much. He's out of the game half the time because while he's a good defensive player, he is an all or nothing kind of guy. He's like Giancarlo Stanton. He's going to bat 195. He's going to hit 30 yerps, but it's a home run or a strikeout every time with JJJ. And for that reason, because he's not matured enough yet to do it, I like Giannis. Giannis scares me.
Cool. Great pick.
Sideshow in the chat. Again, another $19.99 in the super chat. Truly appreciate it. Jock or Ben, who you got? Well, we know
Ben
Matthew
Simmons
has.
All day.
Yeah, I think I'd still.
You're adding someone. It's like, hey, it'd be the perfect organization to come to for Ben Simmons. But then Katie's like, damn, I thought I got away from you. But
yeah, no, I wouldn't bring him here.
He's gone, man.
Send his ass to Oklahoma City and let him figure that shit out. So, all right, well, let's go to the next award.
The Surprise the Fuck Out of You Award.
Here's Johnny.
For the guy who surprised the fuck out of you.
So this is where Josh Okogie comes in for me, because he surprised the living fuck out of me. The living fuck out of me. This Jo guy. Out of nowhere, masked man, no masked man, flying all over the place, snagging rebounds, way above his weight class, if you will, boxing out guys way above his weight class. An amazing season for Josh Okogie. And what's interesting is he was my pick for the preseason Surprise the Fuck Out of You award. So thank you, J.O. I called it at the beginning of the season.
Wow. Hey, everybody, round of applause for John.
I got one. I got one.
I would not have seen that one.
Well, if you remember at the beginning of the season, I said a guy who has the defensive capability that he has translates. And if he could just put any semblance of an offensive game together, he will be a quality player who will surprise us this year. And sure enough, that's what he did. As for the regular season, the NBA, surprise the fuck out of you, I put Jalen Brunson. And that was because I didn't know if I think even though he got the contract in New York, not a lot of people thought that he was actually going to be able to perform under the bright lights or that his game would translate to being a guy who can carry the team in the backcourt. He came up under Luka's tutelage and Luka's ball usage percentage. So we didn't know if he had it. And I thought that he would. I thought that what he has and his ability to get to the paint would be something that would allow him to be successful in New York. I feel like I was right there. I think that he's going to be somebody who'll probably be a third-team NBAer. But for the season, I'm giving it to SGA. I am so surprised at just how, and maybe this is some recency bias because we played the Oklahoma City Thunder 4 times in the last month and a half. And I think 2 or 3 of those times we played SGA. Definitely the last 2. And we had front row seats to watching how effective this young superstar is and how he can get to the rim, how he can make shots. And it's only going to get better from a shot making standpoint. So I'm going to go with SGA and J.O. as my Surprise the Fuck Out of You award Surprise the Fuck Out of You award winners for 2022-2023 season, Matthew.
Yeah, Brunson could still be it too, right? I mean, he surprised me for sure. I thought that contract was bullshit, and I didn't think the Knicks knew what they were doing again, like they always do. But great pickup, and I'm so glad that happened to Dallas. Thank God. That's the best part of it is they don't have him on the team. Suns Down Under podcast says Suns Josh Okogie. I think that's gonna be everyone's answer. NBA Lauri Markkanen. Hebo, excuse me. Okogie, no doubt. Hey.0, the Sacramento Kings.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
A team that played hard when no one else cared. Dagoon, Gogurt. Gobert.
Gogurt's making a comeback?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I was thinking saying Gobert from, I don't know why. That doesn't make any sense either. Coach Fallen Founder, Suns, Saban Lee, NBA, Paulo Panchero. Sure, that's a great one. P-Dog 006, Okogie, EMAC, NAZ, Saban Lee, LOL. And then Joel Ramirez says, Suns, Wayne Washington Jr. with some insane scoring games. True, he did surprise us in the beginning. Who am I going to give it to? Okogie, of course.
Well, I'll say this. Preseason for the Suns, you said DA.
Okay.
And preseason for the NBA, you said AD.
Okay. Well, AD, I mean, he did play a solid year for AD, right? Wasn't he player of the month last month?
He might have been.
For Western Conference? Yeah, so I also predicted something else for him too. I thought he would actually be MVP candidate. That did not happen.
Well, he played in a total of 56 games, starting 54 of them this season.
Not bad. I think I said 60 games.
No,
I said 70. Okay, I'm gonna give it to Markkanen. This is kind of like the most improved player too, right? It's like I kind of got him flip flopped. I have Markkanen for surprise the fuck guy that I wanted.
Surprise the fuck out of us.
The guy that I fucking wanted, and he's an all-star this year, dude. He's up there, and they're skipping over him in the draft. He's just sitting there, and he's like, "Wait, am I supposed to get picked?" You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Crazy year by him and that Utah Jazz team. Well deserved. A guy that should be a Sun.
And what about the Suns? You should stick with J.O., right?
Yeah, J.O.
I mean,
that's a safe one, right?
I think we all know that that's the right answer.
I think so too.
The Uncle Jesse Katsopoulos Award for the guy with the best hair.
Have mercy.
All right, Matthew. Preseason, you said Cameron Johnson. And in the NBA, you said Gordon Hayward. Again, 2 Gordon Haywards in the preseason.
That's what I'm saying. What is my thing with the
fuck?
Hornets and Gordon?
What the fuck?
How many games did he play this year?
My
I think
God.
he played. He just was non-existent. He played this year, but that team after that suspension was not the same, and the injuries. This is tough, right? But I'm gonna give it to Ish for the Suns just because he got rid of those. I think it was dreads he had before. they're considered, and he has more of a poof now, and I like that more. It's more intimidating.
Who did you say again?
Ish Wainwright.
Sorry,
Did I say Ish Smith?
No, I
think I said Ish Smith.
Okay, well, I was wrong then.
Ish Wainwright, for sure. It's a better look for you, dude. Keep it. Don't go back to the dreads. I don't really like those ones. It just turns me off,
Mm-hmm.
But for the NBA, the guy this is the funniest fucking thing that's happened all year, I feel like, is Jimmy Butler. And it's a short period of time, but he grew those he grew those dreads out, which were totally fake, and he took media day pictures and they used on the Jumbotron. That is the funniest thing that anybody's ever pulled in the NBA. I cannot get over that, and I feel like it's overlooked how hilarious that is.
Well, for those of you who are wondering what Matthew is talking about, hold on a second. I'll actually.
I was like, you got to pull that one. I should have had it ready because that is the funniest thing.
Yeah, I mean this is your thing. You got to pull this up, but I'll pull this up real quick. This is what Jimmy Butler did before the season. He grew it out, and then he cut it right after the season started. But for the rest of the season,
it's fake.
Yeah, it's fake.
It's just extensions.
He rocked the extensions for us. So that's a damn good one. That's a damn good one. Looking at what some of our Jamsters are saying in the chat. Again, kudos to everyone who's joining us for this. We really appreciate it.
Much.
We love seeing what you're saying. So says Jay, says me. Boy, does he love him.
Pretty
Suns
selfish.
Down Under book for the Suns, and one of the Jalen Williams dudes from OKC.
Oh, Jalen Williams, that hair, it looks fake. That looks like a wig.
It does look fake. And that's recency bias. We just watched the OKC game, so I assume Suns Down Under is referencing that. Jock from Coach Fallen Founder and Jared Allen. Hey.0 says D. Lee and SGA. And then Christian Perez says, yes, Jimmy Buckets for the NBA. So preseason for myself, I said Dwayne Washington Jr. And instantly after I said that, he cut all his hair off. And then he stopped. Then shortly thereafter, he was no longer a member of the team. And then I said Kevin Huerter for the NBA. Because I always say Jared Allen. So I was like, I'll throw a spin on it. I'll say the Red Rocket out there in Sacramento, Kevin Huerter. I agree with you on Ish. Ish does now own the title for the Jesse Katsopoulos Best Hair Award winner, and I'll give it to SGA, a second award in a row for SGA. I like his braids, and I like the headband over it, and I just think it looks clean. It looks very clean the way he has it. I was watching him again tonight, and I was just like,
I wish I looked like him.
Yeah, I wish I looked like SGA. So says Jay. He will not apologize for his fabulous hair or his ego.
It is pretty good. Next time I got to touch it.
I just don't know what it looks like because it's always changing.
I want you to go in that bag and find my wallet.
Which one is it?
It's the one that says bad motherfucker.
The Jules Winnfield Bad Motherfucker Award for the guy you'd like most to have with you to fight in a back alley.
Back alley fighting, buddy. Preseason, I said Jock Landale and Anthony Edwards. I think that's kind of self-explanatory. Jock Landale, maybe he's got a little bit of, this is a knife, Crocodile Dundee to him. So,
accent, right? It has
you feel like that guy, just his voice alone would scare motherfuckers away. And Anthony Edwards, I think that was some recency bias after watching that movie. I forget the name of it, but the one that he was in with Adam Sandler, and he just seemed like a prick in it. Like, yeah, I could have this guy back me up in an alley fight. That's obviously changed for the Suns. I was thinking CP3 because he's a crafty son of a bitch, right? Like he knows the rules of the fight. And he knows how to bend them to win. He's the kind of guy who kick you in the balls. So you're getting ready for a back alley fight. You've been kicked out of the bar. They've thrown you out of the bar in Jamsterdam, with Coach Fallen Founder running bar there. He's like, get out of here.
Dude, stop tending bar, man. There's no one there. It's a ghost town.
Remember Jamsterdam? That should be one of my things.
Dude, I cannot. That thing was so cool. I can't wait to do that. Like after this season, I'm going to retire and just do Jamsterdam full time.
Yeah,
just run everybody's
we just need to hire a staff.
Yeah, it needs to be like 10 people. Yeah. We're like,
what do you do?
Like, wait, what are we doing?
I control Jamsterdam.
How do we make money off of this? I don't know. We can put advertisements on the buildings.
Jamolians, whatever the hell you call them.
Yeah.
But yeah, CP3, I just feel like he'd be crafty in a back alley fight, and I'd like to have him on my side. And then for the NBA, I thought long and hard about this. I'm going with Shannon Sharp. He's not even an NBA player, but he shows up at a Memphis Grizzlies Lakers game wearing a fucking grandma sweater and he ruined the season for the Grizzlies. They were not the same after that game when he started talking shit to the Grizzlies. And the Grizzlies are a team that they like to think they're tough, right? They got Steven Adams, who is, he's Steven Adams. He's a big, bulky son of a bitch, and he's an Aussie as well, or he's a New Zealander. Sorry, he's a Kiwi, and he's somebody who you could be afraid of. And they got John Morant talking shit, throwing guns with lasers, and Shannon Sharp shook that team so hard. I want him on my side in a back alley brawl, Matthew.
Dude, after that happened, who's talked about the Memphis Grizzlies since? And that's fine. Like, Suns never got talked about.
Not in a good way.
No one believed. Does anybody even know they're the second seed in the West?
And not a lot of people think that they can beat the Lakers. I think they can. I think it'll be a 6-game series.
Can too. I think they
we'll
can
deal with that.
Them.
That'll be in the playoff preview,
pod.
which we're doing on Friday. But we'll get there. But yeah, you're right. They haven't talked about them since.
All right, well, let's get through the Jamsters. So Sir Hamo says Steven Adams, good pick. Always a solid pick.
Always a good pick.
Yeah, Hubo says Biz all day. P-Dog 006, probably my favorite name. Torrey Craig, not even close. Coach Fallen Founder, what you got? Suns, busy, NBA, Bol. Dude, yeah. Bol. Oh, my God.
No, I don't want him in a back alley fight with me, man. Like, all it takes is one person just, like, kicking his knee, and he's done, dude. He's done. He's a stick.
Know.
That long punch is coming in. You got like an hour to duck it.
I'm sure you just grab someone on the head, dude, and just put him across from him and just kick him. Keep kicking him. One kick at a time. Christian Perez says Suns, James Jones. Yeah. And Ja. Yeah, maybe not. Ish is a tank. Giannis for the NBA. That was actually by Joel Ramirez. Excuse me. Suns Down Under podcast says Suns, busy, NBA. Ja, he's gangsta. EMAC NAZ-ish. EMAC NAZ and Busy. So good solid picks. For the Suns, I'm going to give it to Busy. I think he doesn't fuck around. There was a time last year where I think it was DeMarcus Cousins trying to go after him, and he just like stood up to him like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
and like scared the shit out of him. That he's going to win this until he's off the Suns. And then wherever he's at in the NBA, I'm going to choose him for the NBA. NBA, I'm going to go Joel Embiid, I think he's just so laxed, but just like carefree. And I am envious, and I'm just jealous of the way he just seems to be as a person. Because I feel like he can just kick someone's ass if he wants, and then just, oh well, we'll go about the day and just continue to do what I was doing. Practice basketball. I don't know.
Practice basketball.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll allow
it. Stuff, huh?
Two more awards to get to, Jamsters.
The beer crack. Favorite Player Award.
God, weird, dude.
All those beer cracks come back when Matthew used to crack beers on the podcast.
Yeah, I look like a fucking alien.
So the beer crack award for your favorite player, right? Both on the Suns and in the NBA. Matthew, preseason, you said Cameron Johnson, so I assume you have a new favorite player on the Suns. And for the NBA, Josh Giddey.
Yeah. That's a good one.
How are we looking now?
So Giddey was there still. I think for favorite player for the NBA, though, it's going to be SGA for sure. You mentioned him earlier, just his game, how he can control games now and take over, and the wacky shots he can just create around the rim. This guy's unbelievable, and a guy that I've always wanted to be a Sun that we go after every time it's a trade deadline or something. Could we get him? He finished the season. They're moving on next game. I'm excited for him. For the Suns, though, I think it's just going to be Booker. Booker till the day he dies or I die or this podcast dies. Definitely going to be my favorite Sun. Even if we have KD.
Both solid picks. SGA is one of those guys. Yeah, man. I wish we had him on our team. And I know we talk about it a lot. The Jamsters, Suns Down Under says Book, and in the NBA Book. That's not how the game is played. You have to pick somebody in the NBA.
Get out of here.
Not
look, I look like an ump. Get out of here.
Get out of here. So, Mikhail Bridges for Monsieur Pro. Fabio says Suns, KD, and Book. NBA, KD, and Mikhail. So I guess if that's the front half of the season, the back half of the season, that actually plays. Joel Ramirez, DeAndre Ayton for the Suns, and NBA, Anthony Edwards. I like that. Anthony Edwards is one of those guys who can definitely start to grow on you.
Too bad I didn't step up last night.
Coach Fallen Founder gives it to Book, and in the NBA, Dame Lillard. Word. Give it up for
maybe it's in next year.
For Dame. Suns Down Under. Lies. Fuck every other team. Well, that's not how this game is played. Okay. For myself, preseason, I stated that it is Devin Booker for the Phoenix Suns. And for the NBA, I said, KD hurt my feelings. So I'm changing it up this year, and I'm going with Giannis. You got to remember, our preseason jammies was right after the whole, is KD coming to the Suns? He's not coming to the Suns. He's talking to the Nets again. Meh. And I every year always pick KD because KD is my favorite player who doesn't play for the Suns. You now ask me who my favorite member of the Suns is, and I want so much and so bad to say KD. But it's tough, man. Devin Booker, who he is, what he means to this organization, what he means to this fan base. He is the greatest Sun of all time. He already is. And he's been to as many finals as every other great Sun of all time. But I still got to go with KD. I love KD, man.
Oh, wow.
And for the NBA, it's Mikal Bridges now. Mikal Bridges, you will always be my favorite player, not a member of the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, because I love who he is. I love the game that he plays, and he will always have those ties to the Phoenix Suns. So I don't think there's any wrong answers there. Last award of the night, everybody. This is the one everybody's been waiting for.
The Big Dick Book Award.
The Big Dick Book Award, a.k.a. the MVP Award. Who is the MVP of the Suns, and who will be the MVP in the NBA? For the Phoenix Suns preseason, I gave it to Devin Booker, and I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with D-Book on that one because he is the guy who is the reason we're the 4th seed. He's the one thing. I know that he was injured for 20 games in the middle of the season, and we felt it, and the team held on. But before that and after that, this team has been fantastic with him. The statistics he put up, obviously, he broke Tom Chambers' single-season record for points in a or average scoring average, whatever. 27.8 is what he scored, but it won't count because he only played in 53 games. You have to play in at least 70% of the games for it to count with the record books. But this season, when he played, the Suns were 34-19. MVP right there. And I know KD, we were 8-0, but we were 34-19 with Devin Booker. As for the league MVP, I'm going to give that to Joel Embiid. I think this is Joel Embiid's year. I think, obviously, it's a 3-headed race. It's a 3-horse race. It's Joel Embiid, it's Nikola Jokic, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I think that Jokic just kind of took his foot off the pedal because Denver kind of took their foot off the pedal, and they're worried about the postseason. I don't think he cares about getting another MVP, his 3rd consecutive one. I think Joel Embiid has played great this entire season. It's easily been his best season. And I will say, again, echoing Bill Simmons, he says, if you go back and you look at the last 5 years and you tell me Joel Embiid won 1 MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo won 2 MVPs, and Nikola Jokic won 2 MVPs, I think we got it right. And I think we got it right. So that's where I'm at. Matthew, where are you at?
First the Jamsters. Always
I know them. I know them.
This is a weird one. Fabio Nazansky. I always say it's a different name every time. DeMar DeRozan. I don't know if you're actually answering that one, but yeah, sure. Suns Down Under podcast says Suns book NBA Embiid. Joel Rodriguez, $2. Thank you very much. Suns D-Book NBA. D-Book for the Suns NBA. DeMar DeRozan's daughter. If you saw that, her screaming. That's screaming now. I feel like a lot of fans, if you're a little girl out there, whatever, that's going to be a thing. Mm-hmm. I can scream like a little girl too, so
we know.
P-Dog 006 Booker for the Suns, and then Trey Mann for the NBA. Interesting, or Terrence Mann. Fabio Nozaki says Suns, KD, NBA Giannis. Did I just read yours? My bad. Oh no, DeMar DeRozan was not your answer. EMAC NAZ says Al McCoy. Great answer. Monzier Pro says MVP for the Suns is D-Book. For the NBA is Giannis. Hubo book until I die. And NBA, I'd say Embiid.
I hope you live a long and happy life. And 20 years from now, Booker's not playing, or 50 years from now, he's not playing. So
even when I die, the first thing I'm going to think about is book. So when I wake up or wherever I'm at. Okay, Coach Fallen Founder, Suns book, NBA Joker. Monsieur Pro says Giannis. So for me, you want to go ahead? Or did you already tell me who I picked?
No, but I will definitely let you know who you picked before. Preseason, you said Devin Booker. And for the NBA, drum roll, please. Matthew picked for the Big Dick Award winner for the NBA, Zion Williamson.
Did you see that interview today with him? Where he's just like, I'm healthy, but I don't want to go out there and distract my team. It's weird. I don't know what's going on over there with that dude. Ben Simmons is weird, but this is like, I think
It doesn't
next
matter
level.
anymore. They gone.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. The 2 teams we played last year, they're already gone.
Yep.
Yeah, so NBA, I'm going to say Embiid just because you have to give it to him. You just have to. There's no, I know Giannis is probably better, but you have to give it to Embiid. It's going to be Booker, man. Booker this year to start the year. And it's crazy. It's his fault. All this trade happened and Mikhail's gone. All right, guys. It's his fault, but it's also his fault we got KD in a good way. I think Devin Booker, because there are games where I watch this year where I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'll just leave the room. I'm like, what I just saw is greatness. It's Kobe, Michael Jordan-esque games he's had this year. They were that good. And yeah, so he's MVP for sure.
Did I talk to you about watching his highlights?
Whose? Booker's?
Booker's.
No.
So we have a new intro to the podcast for those of you who watch. We're now a fan-sided podcast, so they assist in distributing our pod. And in doing so, I wanted to add a couple new dunks. I mean, it's the jam session. So for those of you who watch the pod, our whole intro while the music is playing is a bunch of different Suns throughout history making slam dunks. So I was looking for a good Devin Booker dunk, and I found myself watching 10-minute highlight videos of Devin Booker. And we get so used to watching him time and time again, game in and game out, putting up 27.8 points. If you just take the time and go on YouTube and just look for like the highlight videos of Devin Booker, it's like 10 minutes of Devin Booker just dropping his big dick all over the court or whatever the title is. It's really an amazing watch. And it's fun because, I mean, obviously as Suns fans, we remember every game in which that specific moment happened. But when you put them all together collaboratively, it's such an amazing watch. You're like, dude, this guy is so fucking good. He's so fucking good. Dude.
He's so good.
He's so good. So that's it on the jammies. But I want to talk about some other things that we had some preseason predictions. Okay. So here were some of the questions that we asked at the preseason. Let's see how any of these panned out. Some of these we don't know the answers to yet, but it's always interesting to see. You know, you can't know where you're going unless you know where you've been. Will the Suns have any all-NBA players? I said Booker second team. You said Booker first team and CP3 third. I think we can both agree they will have none, correct?
0.
All defensive team. We both said Mikhail first team. I don't know if that'll be true, but it won't be as a member of the Phoenix Suns, so we were wrong there. All stars. I said 2, Book and DA. You said 1, Booker, but then you also said maybe Ayton. We only had KD, if you even count that. How many three-point attempts will DA take this season? I said 24. No. I said 60. You said 19. He took 24. Only 24 three-point attempts by DA.
I won.
What you finally won one, Matthew. You got one right, kind of. You're off by 5. What will the Suns' final record be? Now, again, the Suns finished 45-37. I said 49-33, so I was off by 4 games. Matthew said 60-22. So, Matthew, you were off by 15 games.
Not bad.
Oh, my God. How many times will we reference the Cam Johnson contract? I said every time he scores 20-plus points, so 15 times. And you said 60-plus. And I don't even know if we mentioned it 10 times because he was injured, and then he came back and we traded his ass.
I don't think we said it once.
Yeah, I don't know if we really did.
Mm-hmm.
Does Booker surpass TC's 27.2 points record? We both said yes. Now, again, as I mentioned before, he played 53 games, so it's close. You have to play 58 games for it to count. He was 5 off. You said that he would finish with a scoring average of 28.5. I said he would average 27.6. I was off by 0.2 points per game. What's your hot take this season? And I said for the Suns that they'd only win 49 games. You said Shamet traded. For the NBA, you said Brandon Ingram is traded. And I said that the Nuggets will win the West. I was right there. I got that one right.
Were those really hot takes? Shamet traded? That was a bad hot take. Who cares about that?
That was like a lukewarm take.
Oh.
That was, kind of.
Yeah, that wasn't even anything. That's like me not doing my homework and just throwing something out there quick.
Yeah, that was you like predicting. It wasn't a hot take. You're like, no, this is going to happen, so I want to look good at the end of the year when I'm doing the jammies.
Exactly.
But yeah, so there you go. Another
Woo!
Jammy Award done. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you to everyone who decided to hang out in the chat or who is listening at a later time or is watching later time. We appreciate it. Just so everyone knows, the playoffs do start on Sunday for the Phoenix Suns. So obviously we'll be going live after every game. We will be having our playoff preview on Friday night right here on the Suns Jam Session podcast. And we will be joining Suns Geek tomorrow night on his channel to do a playoff preview with him as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to vet all of our shitty takes there, pick out the good ones, and then we'll make sure that we have them on ours. And we're also going to have for Game 4, which is on Saturday, April 22nd. The game starts at 12:30 Arizona time. We are going to have a Suns Jam Session watch party. It's going to be occurring at Blue Agave, located on Scottsdale Road and Mayo in North Scottsdale, right off the 101 in Scottsdale Road. So if anyone wants to come join us, we'll be watching the game at Blue Agave. And then once the game's done, we'll be going live on the Suns Jam Session podcast. I know Gavin from the Suns Down Under podcast will be in town. So if you want to kick it and try to outdrink one of the Aussies, he'll be there too. But we look forward to reminding you of that over and over again until that occurs. And we look forward to the postseason, baby. Here we go, man.
I know.
The
I'm
season
so stoked.
begins.
Yeah, all these awards and stuff, it's mainly just going into the playoffs. You're like, and when we talk about Booker and the highlights, I'm like, dude, we still haven't seen the best of him. Forget that he can drop 40. Oh my God, this is awesome.
We got so many things to talk about on Friday's pod because, this is fun. This is us putting a little bow on the 2022-2023 regular season. It is gone now. The Jammy's been handed out. Everyone who won one is going back and they're boning their significant other while the Jammy's watching them. They're taking White Claws and just spraying them all over the room. They're excited. But you know what? The real awards start to come with this postseason that lies ahead. We're going to talk about expectations. We're going to talk about series expectations for the Suns, other expectations as it relates to the other. I got so many graphics I have to start working on now that I think about it, and I got like a day to do them. So plenty to talk about on the next edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. But again, thank you to everyone who joined us on this one. Make sure you subscribe, rate, review. In fact, we do have some new Apple podcast reviews. Matthew, you want me to read them or should I?
Hell yeah.
Good. I like your style. Webb Clayton said, Suns Jam Session haiku. I love this. Suns pod, pure fire. Darth Voida, Lissy's ire. Laughs rise ever higher. Thank you for that 5-star review.
Was that Liss Desire?
What's that? What
was the Lissy Desire?
Lissy's ire.
Ire.
Google it. You uneducated fuck. Alfred Bonneau 111 said, longtime listener. I started listening to this pod at the start of the 2019-2020 season. Wow, you're an OG. I have gone through a lot with these two since then. This is my go-to pod for Suns, not just post-game either. These guys do a great job of analyzing what they are seeing on the court, and it's also very fun and engaging. So thank you, Alfred, for that. Truly appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the Jammies. Hope everyone enjoyed the Jammies. And we'll see you on Suns Geek channel tomorrow night and on our channel on Friday. Until then, everybody, have a nice day.
Go home and love your chips and salsa.
Ooh, chips and salsa. I could go for that.